Last year we met several tall Umbelliferae, members of the carrot family. We met Angelica hogweed, hemlock and wild carrot itself. This year we're going to look at two species which are equally characteristic of early summer: cowparsley and pignut. Cowparsley is one of the loveliest displays of hedgerows and well-lit woods at this time of the year. The flowers appear as though by magic in the first half of May usually, although in fact the luxuriant fern-like foliage has been preparing for this upsurge of snowy blossom from way back in the winter. And if we look at the flowers, here are the first umbels to open. And if we examine those flowers carefully, you'll find that most of the little florets in these first umbels are hermaphrodite. They contain both male and female parts, and they are completely protandrous. In other words, the stamens wither away before the stigmas become receptive. Whereas the later umbels, and you can see they're just beginning to develop here, the later umbels, the florets in the later umbels are almost all male. The first flowers can therefore only be fertilised by pollen from other umbels, often from other plants. But as the later umbels develop, the pedicels or stalks elongate greatly to form an upper story, as it were. And this brings them right above the first umbels, so that if these have not already been fertilised, they can now be fertilised by pollen falling down on them in crumbly masses. Cowparsley adds a clean, spicy flavour to a cold potato salad. But I hesitate to recommend it because it is too easy to mistake it for other hedgerow umbelliferae which are not only distasteful but potentially deadly poisonous, in particular hemlock, which however can easily be distinguished by its smooth purple blotched stems. If cowparsley is one of the signature species of the hedgerow in early summer, pignut is equally characteristic of woodlands and old grassland at the same time. It's obviously an umbellifera, as you can see, but much lower in stature than cowparsley. In fact, a metre would be very tall for pignut. And the leaves are quite different. Instead of the fern-like foliage of cowparsley, here you can see that the segments of the leaf are almost linear. The inflorescence is a typical umbel, nodding at first as though waiting for a wake-up call. The tiny flowers have curled up heart-shaped petals and they are usually unisexual, chalcid wasps among their pollinators. The flowering stems will have finished their work for the year by midsummer, when all that remains are the dead hollow stalks. But by that time, the plant has stored the winter reserves that will fuel next year's growth in a nut-like tuber that develops deep in the ground at the end of a long, white, string-like rhizome. And it's this tuber that gives the plant its name. The tubers are buried at a depth of between 5 and 8 centimetres, and they vary in size from a pea to a large hazelnut. And they have a pleasant nutty flavour with a hint of celery. But to get at them, really, you need a fork, or the tusk of the pig after whom the flower is named, or very long fingernails. In fact, the first reference in English literature to pignut is in Shakespeare's The Tempest, where Caliban offers to dig pignuts with his famously long nails for Trinculo and Stephano. The English name pignut, of course, is therefore obvious enough. The Irish is couleron. The common Irish name is couleron. But it also has another Irish name, which some of you may prefer, and that is Proti Luvercoin, leprechaun's potatoes.